karma's real.
Even years later, we're still asking ourselves, was karma real, or is it just a theory? And no, I'm not talking about the song, I mean the album that was supposed to be TS6. The one that seemed to be there at one point, ready to come out. I've looked into everything I could find about this lost album. Theories, Easter eggs, every little detail, and quote. And these are all the reasons why so many fans believe Karma is in fact Taylor's lost album.
All I think about is karma.
After the 1989 era, Taylor started changing her style, and you know what that means. A new era was coming. In the spring of 2016, Taylor changed her hairstyle. She bleached her hair and did a Vogue photo shoot with this brand new aesthetic. It's the same look she wore to the Met Gala. Fans took this as her teasing a new era, since it looked nothing like 1989's colorful pop vibe. In fact, because of that look, many people guessed Karma would be a rock or pop rock album. That's why most edits use photos from that era and that specific hairstyle. According to fan theories, the album was intended to be released during the autumn of 2016 through Big Machine Records as her sixth studio album. But in 2016, Taylor got caught in the middle of a very public feud with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, which led her to go radio silent for nearly a year.
Nobody physically saw me for a year. And that was what I thought they wanted.
Until she came back in 2017 with Reputation. That's where the theories start, especially because of Taylor's album timeline. Before Reputation, Taylor released albums every 2 years, with 1989 coming out on October 27, 2014. So fans naturally expected the next album to arrive in 2016. Another clue fans point to is her interview with Vogue in the 73 Questions segment, where she cryptically says, "Karma is real."
What do you think is the most important life lesson for someone to learn?
That karma's real.
Since Taylor is famous for hiding clues in what she says, and she said nothing is ever accidental, Swifties took that as another sign. There are more clues in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, where I actually found 60 Easter eggs, so I'll leave the link in the description box. In this scene, there's a version of Taylor in an orange jumpsuit swinging inside a giant birdcage, which many have seen as a metaphor for that album, locked away and closely guarded in the vault. The color orange is important in this theory because we've seen it in many details that we consider Easter eggs, like these scenes, for example. And if we follow the color patterns of Taylor's albums, orange was a color she hadn't used up to that point. That's why it fuels the theory that Karma was going to be orange. Then, at the end of the video, there's the iconic Taylor standing on the airplane, cutting off its wing. The plane has Reputation spray painted on it, and on the back, it says TS6. It's like she's cutting off the wings of the era that never was. As if the plane represents TS6, and spray painting it with Reputation means Reputation took its place. Also, her outfit in that scene looks nothing like her past eras, and it's way too floral to be part of Reputation. Later in the Lover era, in the music video for The Man, there's a wall with all her stolen albums spray painted, and the word Karma. Actually, Karma is written twice, and one of them is in orange. Speaking of the Lover era, at the 2019 AMAs, Taylor wore a jacket with the names of her 7 albums, but she walked on stage with 8 kids. Another theory came from a visual during the Eras tour. It's about a door, but basically just because it's orange. Some people also said it was an Easter egg for her next album. In the end, so far it seems like the door doesn't mean anything, it's just a door. Supposedly, some songs from Karma were going to be called Kissing Strangers, Cursed Paradise, Falling Down, 1111, and Go Away. I honestly don't know where this came from. Honestly, they do sound like fan-made track lists, and they probably are. Now let's talk about the things that go against the Karma album theory. Like, it wouldn't really make sense for Taylor to release an album called Karma if she hadn't been cancelled yet. At that time, she was still on good terms with Kanye, and her squad was going strong. So, what would be the point of putting out a darker album? Especially when from 2014 to early 2016, she was literally everywhere and at the peak of her career. Sure, something could have been going on privately that we don't know about, but most fans associate this lost album with the 2016 Drama and Revenge, and that hadn't happened yet. Also, and this is just my personal opinion, Reputation isn't the revenge album people think it is. It's actually a pretty vulnerable album about finding love and the people who stand by you when everything goes dark. Yes, it has tracks like I Did Something Bad, Look What You Made Me Do, and This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. But it also has songs about love, heartbreak, and more emotional moments. Personally, I think Delicate sums up the whole album perfectly, especially with the line, My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me. So based on that, I don't believe Karma, if it was a real album, would have been darker than Reputation. There's just no way. And maybe some of the ideas or songs from that era did make it onto Reputation. For example, according to Taylor's former personal assistant, Ready For It was written on a plane in 2015 during the 1989 World Tour.
There was one time where I was traveling with her on her tour and she was sitting in the back of her plane. I could hear her just throwing words together. And then basically in front of me, she ended up writing Ready For It.
I don't know how reliable that is, because personally, I don't trust ex-staff talking to the media, but it doesn't seem too crazy either. For example, we have songs where she talks about things she was going through at the time, like when she met Joe, with songs like Gorgeous and Dress, or when she talked about her relationship with Tom in Getaway Car. And then in 2022, Taylor releases Karma, but it's not an album. It's a song on Midnights, where she talks about her enemies and how Karma treats her well because she keeps her side of the street clean. But it has nothing to do with any of these theories, lyrically and sonically, and it fits Midnights perfectly. Still, now that Taylor owns all her music, if Karma was ever real, do you think we'll learn more in the future? I mean, we've been getting vault tracks from different eras, but what do you think? There are thousands of Karma-related theories and Easter eggs out there. These are just the ones I found, and the most famous ones. But feel free to share any clues, Easter eggs, or theories you've come across. Make sure to leave them in the comments. In the meantime, here are some other Taylor stories I've talked about.
All Too Pink.